in point A, where we want to go, point B, and what's the methods? How we can go. For example, we are in Tehran, we want to go to Isfahan, we are in point A, we want to go to point B. How we can go to Isfahan? With car, with train, with airplane, we can walk, we can go by camel. Yes? We cannot go. So there are different ways to achieve the goal, okay? Each method with some limitation and strengths. Planning means identify point A, point B, and how we can transfer from point A to point B by car, or by train, or by airplane, or walking. So this is planning. We have different types of planning. I don't go into it. So what is monitoring, and let me say evaluation instead of control. Evaluation. Both of them we normally say control. So control means somehow monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring means we should be careful that we don't go, for example, this way or this way. We go the direct way. So we always should monitor. After we do the plan, now we have the plan. We decide to go somewhere to achieve a goal. And we know how to go. We start the plan, then always we should do monitoring. If we don't do monitoring, we might go like somewhere else. So this means monitoring. What does evaluation means? Evaluation means at the end we check if we are here or not. Sometimes you do monitoring and you think you're going the right way, but at the end you want to go to Isfahan, then at the end of the day you are in Semnan and something happened. For example, you should go to the west, you have gone to the east, but all the time you think you are in the right way. So finally you should reach the goal. So evaluation means to check. For example, in malaria control, we want to do the malaria control. So the goal is to prevent mortality, for example, to reduce the mortality, to reduce the morbidity, number of cases, for example, and number of people die from the malaria. So what does the evaluation mean? At the end of the year, or after 3 years, or after 5 years, you check if you have reduced mortality or not. Okay, this is evaluation. What does monitoring mean? Monitoring means you check if the bed nets are okay, you check if the, for example, residual spraying that you do is okay, you check if the medication is okay, you check if the procedures are okay. For example, in vaccination, what does the monitoring mean? We have the cold, what we say, the cold zanjire sar cycle, yes? The cold cycle. You should always monitor that the fridge is working and the temperature is okay, and the person who, for example, do the vaccination train and the procedure is fine. So these are the monitoring. You should always monitor that all of them are okay. And at the end, you should evaluate that the mortality also reduced. So sometimes you do monitoring, but when you do evaluation, you see that you didn't achieve the goal. So this is, again, part of management. And organizing. Organizing, for example, means different sections, how many people, who report to who. So these are organizations. So these are all management. And above the management, we have something that we call leadership, okay? Leadership or stewardship. Or governance. All of them are very similar. Leadership, stewardship, or governance. So these are a little bit broader. In hierarchy is somehow more than that. So you mean the difference between these issues like governance, stewardship, leadership, and management? Anybody knows the difference?
By one person. I'm talking about leadership. Someone person knows everything, controls everything. We are talking about one leader.
The management brings the results to the leader.
For example, yani, each staff going to be many groups. Each group has stewardship, and all the groups have leaderships belong to the government.
Yes. Leadership is like, for example, a senior manager, but not that much technical management, okay? So a technical manager is somebody like, for example, everyday activity, supervision, monitoring, ordering, doing. But when we talk about leadership, somebody's at the high level, and this person is less technical and more supervise, more oversight, more, for example, give incentives, like that. And, for example, it's less technical, less managerial, and more, for example, supervision and overseeing, so more hierarchy. So these are the main functions of any system, including health system. So in health system, governance is so important, and stewardship is so important, and leadership is so important. Maybe this is because the name of Ministry of Health in Pakistan is Ministry of Health Governance and Regulation. So it's more emphasis on the governance rather than, because when somebody, for example, when you outsource the delivery to the maybe provinces, this, for example, decentralize it and outsource it to the private sector, but you still do governance, yes? In some countries, they do governance and management and delivery and everything, you know, by the Ministry of Health. But some countries decentralize it or outsource it, they still keep the governance, you know, at the government level. So Ministry of Health is so small. A small Ministry of Health doing more governance, but sometimes we have a big Ministry of Health. In addition to governance, they do also delivery. They do also other functions as well. So another important function is delivery. Delivery of health services. And another important function is resource generation. So these are the main 4 functions of any health system. And if I say governance here, governance financing, delivery, resource generation. So what we mean by resource generation? Training medical student. Yes? Training of medical student is resource generation. Training of nurses is resource generation. Providing MRI and CT scan.
Doing more
But
projects.
providing the input, yeah.
Yes, providing the inputs.